Jesus. Yeah. I've got to thank you, 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 Jesus.
Yes. Yes, good evening, everyone. You can see you have just come in to Let's Talk Live. And this evening, I am excited about our guests that we have coming on. And I want to just bring these ladies right up to you. I'm going to say good evening. Hello. This is Lady Lenard and Lady Alexander. How are you ladies doing?
Hello.
Beautiful.
Yes. Well, you look beautiful tonight. I'm so happy and excited that you are on Let's Talk Live. We've
Thank you
had
for
Lady
having
Lisa
me.
here before, but Pastor Trideana, and she is Pastor
Oh,
Lady, everyone. This is her first time being on. So for those who are logging on with us, if you will, say hello. Let us know where you're logging on from. Take a moment to share. This is going to be a great conversation that we have, and you all know this is Real Talk for a Real Walk. All right, so we're going to get ready to jump in. The time goes so fast. And we want to open up with a word of prayer. But let me say this, if you have not had a chance to share, if you're looking right now, take one quick moment and share the video. All right. We want to make sure that we let everybody hear what these great women of God are going to share with us on this evening. And it's going to be just real. That's the way we do it here. That's just all it is to it. Lady Lisa, do you mind opening us up with a word of prayer?
Most definitely. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you tonight for allowing us to assemble together, whether it be virtual or however you see fit. God, we just thank you for the opportunity to spread your word with your people. Lord, we just ask that you will be in the midst on tonight, God, that somebody will get something out of what is being talked about for this real talk, for a real walk. God, we just want to be more pleasing in your sight. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Thank God. Amen.
amen.
Amen. So I want to do this for some who may not know your beautiful faces, and you ladies look fantastic on this evening. So if someone does not know you, I want you to say hello to them, and I want to bring you up just so you can introduce yourself. And I'm going to start with Lady Lisa, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is First Lady Lisa Alexander. I bring you greetings from Agape Worship Center, where my husband is the pastor, Pastor Sam Alexander. I'm a mother, a wife, a friend, a sister, um, and by profession, I am a therapist. I'm just so happy to be here with Pastor Tasha and my dear, dear friend, Pastor Trideana, on tonight.
Okay, Pastor Tadina, now let me let you come up and say good evening to everyone.
I am Lady Pastor. You can call it the above. Trideana Lenard with Take Dominion Worship Center. I serve alongside my awesome husband, Pastor Brian Leonard. We have two children, Adija, age 19, who's away at college, and my son, Titus, who's 15. He's here home with me tonight. Um, let's get started. I'm ready. So glad to be here.
Well, so tonight, I reached out to you ladies, and we know we have watching with us. Who are the two that's watching that they didn't come on tonight? But we want to give an honorary hello to these two ladies, and you all want to call them out tonight.
Yes, the Hugh. Well, no, with the Williams Hughes sisters.
Hughes, Lady
Lady
Vivica and Lady Karen,
Yes,
my homegirls, my sisters.
we
They
So
love.
somewhere on here. I see Lady Vivica.
yeah, so they're watching honorary style tonight. I want to say good evening.
Oh
We see
Lord.
Dr. Luckett on. Dr. Luckett, I'm trying with the eyes, you all. I'm trying to explore some colors. This is Fab Nurse
Oh,
lips and eyes tonight. And so I'm trying to
You
get
working?
into it. I'm trying to work it out a little bit.
looking
So,
good.
all right. So I
You're looking
appreciate her.
good.
Yay. And if you all don't know, we always support local. And so we have so many people who are into entrepreneurship, artistry, and things like that. And Dr. Tamika Luckett happens to be one. I know her, have known her. And what I can appreciate about her products, and this is not, that night, but I'm just saying because this is Women's History Month. Hello, somebody. But
Right.
I
All
could
right.
not wear lipstick for years. I have not been able to put lipstick on my lips. And so when she brought out her brand, and I tried it, and it's been perfect. I have had like zero issues, so I can vouch for it myself. I see Lady Latoya Gibson on. She is Miss Paparazzi. We're glad to have her on here. See Sister Deborah, my beautiful mother minister out there. We see you, Rebecca Christian. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Teresa, thank you for being here with us. Brother Vincent, you're going to hear some good stuff tonight that will help a brother out. Thank you for being on with us. So you guys share and let somebody else know that we're on. So what we want to talk about tonight, and I'm going to let Lady Lisa open up the conversation. And right before we do, let me do this. I want to say congratulations. If anybody is friends with Being a Bean, tag her real quick because I want to give her a shout out. Okay, this beautiful lady, she was able to get a promotion here recently. Look at that. She is now Lieutenant Bean of Bean. She's with the Pike County Sheriff Department. And in honor of Women's History Month, in honor of women who are doing great things and pioneering and going forth and being great, we want to send out a celebration and a congratulations to Bean of Bean. We're very happy for you, sister,
Yes.
and we support you in the community. Bravo, bravo, and bravo.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Lucky, for tagging her. We'll mention her again as well. So, we want to talk about well balanced loving because I want to talk about relationships. God has really put me just in the vein of talking relationships, and apparently it's helping, and it's helping me too.
Yeah.
Yes. And we want to talk about well balanced love and life. And you ladies are really going to bring a lot to the table. And guys, let me tell the audience, I'm used to calling Trideana Leonard Pastor Leonard. So you may hear me go
It's
between
fine.
Pastor and Lady Leonard. So you may hear that tonight. She serves in both roles. So we want to talk about that balance. Shantae, thank you for being with us and joining us on this evening. So, Lady Lisa, let me let you open up this conversation and give us some notes about well balanced love, life, and why is this conversation important?
This conversation, what this topic is important because when we are not in balance and we're thrown off in any area, that throws off the rest of our life because it's all about order and it's all about the divine order. And when some aspect of it is out of sync, out of line, and the stars aren't lined up properly, then that throws off everything. I know For me, I'm approaching that 50 age mark. And I know with my hormones get off balance, I'm off balance. I'm completely thrown off. So whatever it takes for you to get, and you need to be aware, be conscientious of what's going on, not only in your life, but in your body as well. So that when something is not right, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't seem right, you need to address issues as they come. Because what I've noticed is the more you bury things, later on they start creeping back up, and then that throws everything off because you get to a place where you maybe kind of put on like you're good, and when those things start back surfacing, resurfacing, things that you thought that were buried but really were not, when they start to unfold, then you see that your life really isn't as balanced, as in line as what you were putting on. You can only fake it for so long, honey.
Right.
That's right. And we can fake it and make it for a while, but it won't last you for a lifetime. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Get burned out.
Pastor Tradina,
And
what's
sometimes
important?
you really have to want it and really have to desire some truth. And
Right.
the first step to come into that truth is admitting, hey, it's some wrong, it's something is not right.
Right.
And
Right.
whatever it takes, I want to get it right. And that doesn't necessarily mean you got to put all your business out there on Front Street. Yeah, I'm not saying that. But to thine own self be true. Let's start with that one first.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
take it to the one that really can help you. That's the creator. You take get it
That's
right
good.
with him first. And ask him to create in you a clean heart and renew the right spirit, and help you to get things back lined up, get it back
Right.
in order the way that he would have you to be. Since he created you, he knows all about you. So you ain't faking or hiding
That's
nothing from
good.
him anyway.
Right. Pastor Tradina, why is this conversation important? I mean, that those were just some really good notes, because we
Yes.
can act like or show like for only so long that it looks like we're doing okay. But if we don't get on track. So why is this conversation important for us?
Well, I think balance is so important for us because this is exactly what everyone is trying to do in life. Everyone is trying to figure out how to balance life. You have first, like women, we're women, so we're married women, some of us. So we're trying to balance our life. We're trying to balance our marriages. We're first ladies and pastors and co-pastors. We're trying to manage church. We work full-time jobs. We're trying to manage that. We have kids all over the place. Lady Lisa has a daughter that's two daughters that's out of state. They're living their lives, just trying to balance that. I have a daughter that's away at college. You're trying to manage that, and then you're trying to manage your health, and you're trying to keep a happy marriage. You're trying to keep it good in the bedroom. The balance is you're juggling. So this
Yeah.
conversation is so important because that's exactly what we're trying to do is successfully juggle that so we won't lose our minds.
Right. And for those who are watching, what are some areas that you guys struggle with when you talk about keeping balance with all your responsibilities, your life? I appreciate Dr. Luckett. She's looking and she's so she posts a lot about with her sons and all. And so, Pastor Trina, when you said you have your daughter in school, Lady Alexander, you have two daughters who are away from home. So you're managing home, caring about those away from home, trying to keep the love life on track with your spouse. And then what about you? You have to have some you time as well. So
Right.
what are some things that you ladies can tell us about being well balanced, or some tips? So, just talk to us.
You know what I do? I like to do, it's a couple of things with me. I like to. It's rare because I'm so busy. Like I'm a busybody. So every now and then I have to get some time alone. Sometimes it may be 5 hours. That's the most I can get because that means my husband is away. He's on his way in. My son is at baseball practice. Adagio is away. And I know I have a time slot right there. And normally, as mothers, we normally can run to the store and get something. I learned to not do that. I learned to go home, lay on that sofa, and if it's something I like to read, I may read and read myself to sleep. Like I be wanting, because it's rare for me to get some real rest. Because once everybody get in, you got to cater to everything that went on with them during that week. To be honest, as a mom, we have to carry that. So my husband get in, I got to carry whatever he's ready to talk about or deal with. My daughter get in, has a lot to talk about. So that stuff we have to juggle. So we got to find some time for ourselves. Shopping is always good for women. Retail therapy.
Yeah.
Retail therapy is the best. That stuff is genuinely it's authentic. I'm telling you. That come from heaven.
And let me ask you this: what you said, that's a heavenly gift right there.
That come from heaven. Retail therapy.
You made me think about, and I want to get back to that, but you made me think about when you said all of the things that you're having to do in the home, and you recently you recovered. You shared with us on social media. You recovered from having COVID. Lady Lisa, your family
Yes.
was impacted by that as well. So, this I'm just really thinking about that now. And your husband, he took up the banner, and we give him
Yes.
the Superman hero T-shirt and all. So you
Yes.
ladies need to talk to us about all of this. Go ahead. I mean, this is good.
Yeah,
We're
my
listening.
husband had to. If you don't know my husband, he's a real reserved man, but he's very aware. Like he's very aware. He pays really good attention to things. So if something like he don't really make excuses for anything. If something has to be done, he's one of those that drop everything and get it done. And so prior to me having COVID, I had just had surgery. So I was out of work and home and we couldn't attend church or anything because I was out with a major surgery for 13 weeks. And then as soon as I go back to work, I get COVID. Literally, it was a 2 weeks gap between being locked in the house with surgery to getting COVID. So back inside. So my husband was off work then. And then he had to go back to work. And then I get COVID and he took some days off to deal with that. So we had to literally get a new plan that we had just come from a plan of me being off, sick, taking care of me, make sure I don't do too much because I am a busybody. Lisa would tell you how often her and the ladies would tell me, don't do anything. Because
Sit
when you have
down.
surgery, yes, sit down. Because I'm one of those, if I feel like I can reach and get it done, I'm going to go for it. I'm a go getter. So I'm going to get up that morning and I'm ready to roll. So I struggled with sitting down somewhere. That was the hardest thing. So I had to isolate myself. I couldn't leave the room. My husband put me in my room and he moved into my daughter's room because we didn't want him or my son getting sick. My daughter had to stay with my mom because her room was being occupied. Plus, she was afraid to come in the house. So we just developed a system where they would just call me or knock on the door to feed me. Like I couldn't leave the room unless they left the house. So I'm telling you that COVID and trying to figure out how to keep the house running because things don't stop just because you got COVID. Nothing really stops. Stuff's still going. So you got to figure it out. And that's what
So
we did. My husband,
so he helped you.
go
I know
ahead.
he helped you figure it out. So how do
Oh,
your
yes.
husbands? How do your husbands play a role, Lady Lisa? You're listening to this, and you know some of this experience because you walked through it as well. So where do your
Right.
husbands come in to help figure out when a wife is probably the main person that's taking care of the multitasking, and all of a sudden she is no longer able to do that, and the sit down ministry is not the first priority. You have to be told and reminded. So how does your husband come in and Lady Lisa, what does that look like for you to open up for that?
Okay, so for me, mine was kind of different. Well, of course, I had COVID, but it was kind of different in regards to I was starting to feel like I got it first. So how is it that they got well before me? They got over it. When is it gonna be my turn? My turn lasted 5 more weeks after that first 2 weeks because I had it for about 7 weeks. But during that time, after their two my family, my girls and my husband's time was up, they resumed back to their normal life. And I was glad that they were able to. I really was. But during the time when all of us was
Okay, I'm not sure. I think we may have lost Lady Alexander. Yeah, so we're going to let her chime back in. Lady Leonard, while she's getting ready to chime back in with us, let me ask you this: what do you say to the person who's looking? It could be a husband or a wife or a family member who has gone through COVID and they don't feel back to being 100%. Should they be okay with that? Can you tell them that's okay? What do you say to
Oh
somebody?
yeah.
How do you give them
Oh
peace to
yeah.
know they can't jump back to where they were 6 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago? Is it okay to say your body is still healing even after you test negative?
Absolutely. You're going to have that level of fatigue that's going to come. It's not normal for us because we are normally always on the go. So we're not used to things stopping us in our track. Well, COVID will stop you in your tracks and make you examine yourself and even make you sit down somewhere because you will get those dizzy spells. You will uh, feel fatigue. You might not even have an appetite. Just different stuff is going to happen to you that you're just not familiar with. And you got to be okay with it. If you got to take a break, sit down, listen to your body. We're talking about balance. And one of the things that you learn when you're balancing is listen to your body. Your body will speak to you. It talks to you and it tells you it's tired.
That's good.
Just point blank,
That is so
it
good.
does.
And Lady
It
Alexander, I
will.
want you to finish that point. And that, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I have, and maybe somebody else has done like me. I've heard my body tell me, stop, slow down, take a minute, chill out, hold on. And you keep on going until you can't go anymore. And so where you could have taken 2 days to rest, now you take 2 to 5 days to recover from not resting. But Lady Alexander, finish your thoughts.
we're always trying to push ourselves to the limit when our body is clearly trying to tell us what our limits are, but we want to push. And what I can say is during that time, that was sit down time for me because I'm never either I don't know, I'm doing just like many other women. We're or just not even just women, just people in general. We're constantly doing. We constantly got our hands in this and that. But what really, y'all, really the whole quarantine situation, just in general, whether you got it or you don't have it, if you have to be quarantined, it causes out for anything else because you're always so busy. You're busy being busy. So,
Right.
what quarantine causes us to do is it causes us to have this time set aside to really reevaluate and determine what's really important. It gave us as a family an opportunity to spend time together that we hadn't had in some time, quite a bit of time, because um, everybody has their own life. They're really doing things trying to prepare for the next phase of life or the next thing, and securing those bags. So right. So at
Right.
securing those, at doing what it takes for that, we're constantly gonna be on in the hustle, in the grind of things. But what quarantine does is gives you an opportunity to sit back and reflect. you get to put that time in with your family, and you have to be, and how we have to deal with church. You gotta stop thinking about things as they once were and focus more now on how they are now and preparing for a new normal. The old normal is gone. That was yesterday normal. We got to prepare for today and tomorrow's normal, because we don't know how much longer this is going to be around, who's going to get it, who's going to get it again, what the effects are, the long term effects will be. We don't know any of that. We live now in a world of many uncertainties, but family is always going to be there. So I hate that we all had to get COVID to have that time together, but I love, and my girls would tell you, I love it when we have an opportunity to be together. So 2 whole weeks, me, them, and all of us together, we was playing games. I was loving it. Because you quarantine. You can't go out and hang out with your friends. You can't say, I'll be back. I gotta run to the store. And that shopping trip to the grocery store takes an hour. You didn't have that. You didn't have your that. Now we got to work with some new some new
Right.
times.
And in that new, while we talk
You
about,
do.
yeah, while we talk about the well balanced life, I guess Pastor Tadina is the new, more shopping online for retail therapy. I had heard, just to kind of take a little side note, is that they say it would take at least 75% of the population to be vaccinated before we can begin to get back to the normal, or what may be the new normal, because we'll never be the same. And they're saying it looks like it could be the fall when that comes around. I want to say good evening. We see Houston here with us. Reverend Jefferson, thank you for joining us. Prophetess Sabina from along the coast, she's with us. Laverne, thank you for being with us. Shantae, thank you for joining us. For all of those, we see you, Lady Karen Hughes. We won't say we called you out, but we just say your name was mentioned with love. So, so when we talk about that well balanced life, give another note on that, and then I want to switch to, we're going to talk about the well balanced husband and wife life, because you two ladies are married, and a well balanced love life. Love. God bless you, Prophetess Quintella. God bless you. Thank you for being with us. That's a praying woman. She has much to do with prayer ministry. We're glad to see you on. But love as well. So give some final thoughts or some tips on that when it comes to well balanced living. And of course, we'll continue to talk, but anything in particular that stands out to you in regards to that?
One thing I think we are so susceptible to is bad energy, negativity. It comes left and right. So it's good to cut it off unapologetically. If someone is bringing something to you, you got to know how to keep your own mind sober and clean. So anybody that brings negativity or any non-supporting, I don't want to say goods or information, whatever it may be, that doesn't make you better or help you be better, it's okay to block it out. Block them, stop them, remove them off your social media. Negative people has a way of causing imbalance in your life. Yeah, it can happen. So I would say be mindful of negative energy, negative people, cut them off. Some alone time and a good peace of mind, a good prayer life, because life does take us fast. Try to get your alone time. It's so important.
What say ye, Lady Lisa, about some final notes on that?
I listened to a much older church mother say one time, once she started living the let go life became so much easier, so much better to live. So I think
Yes.
if we would learn how to let go of some people that have been trying to show you that they want to be let go of, but we were
Come on.
holding to them for dear life because we had gotten so caught up in whatever it was about them. At some point, you have to take a minute and stop and say, what is it about me that I feel like I have to be so attached to this person that I can't let them go? If we can start living some aspect of the let go life, I mean, we may be able to find that balance and that peace that
Yes.
so we so long for and so desire. But that peace has got to come from within. And I also have been just pondering over the mere thought of how can I tell you or show you how to love me when I don't know how to love me. I haven't found the true essence of me and what makes me tick and what makes my heart beat. I've really been really thinking about that in particular because at living the a well balanced life, I gotta become one with me. I gotta make
Yes.
sure that I'm intact first before I can start reaching out and spreading out, and
That's good.
because really all I'm doing is spreading myself thin. But at the end of the day, I gotta come back and look in that mirror and be okay with the person that's looking back at me.
I love it. I love it. You said the mother told you to have that let go life.
Hmm. And that was probably about 3 years ago, and I've been like, it's like I'm still feasting off that even
Speak,
today.
mother.
I was like, you said it. You spoke that in my life, and you don't. At that point, I didn't even know let go. What I'm letting go of. I was thinking maybe I need to loosen my wig up because I had some hair then. I was like, readjust my wig. Well, let go. So, but I found that whole concept of letting go, it didn't just apply to one area of my life. That fit the whole pie. It sometimes I really need to let go of that pie because it's causing some undue weight, some unnecessary weight to come on me. And if I'm gonna lay aside every weight, it's some weights that we carry around and some bags that's not securing our future. They're hindering our future and they're hindering us from moving forward and going forward and really living a purpose driven life, the life that we can be comfortable with, a life that we when we lay down at night we can get us some sweet rest, some peaceful rest, because we don't have to worry about those bones that are coming out of that closet and all that negative energy. It brings us nothing but a negative mindset. And if you aren't feeding into me, then I don't need you in my inner circle. That outer court, you might be good, but the inner court, you can't hang. You can't dwell there because it's some places that I'm trying to go. It's some things that I'm trying to do. And I need somebody that's going to push me and propel me forward, not push me backwards and push me back on my butt because I'm trying to rise up from this place. And you might be one of these people that I need to let go of.
Well, now, look, that mother put something in the air and it's still speaking and preaching. I'm receiving that, as so many viewers are right now. Right, and look. So I see you, Laverne. She said thank you. She said I'm currently going through that now with my husband, and I have been separated for 3 years, married 13 years, and I had to let go. She says, "My God, it felt like a sack of bricks lifted off me." And we're praying, in regards for you, Lady Landry, Sister Landry, about that. But sometimes you cannot control it, and you really have to cast that care over to God. And with that in mind, let me say this. I see Pastor Dr. Valerie Bass Russell. She just said hello to everyone. And she and her sister from Alabama, they are watching and here with us. Always glad to have her who co-hosts with us. But women are so impactful, as we know men
Yeah.
are too. And, we come into March. March is commemorating Women's History Month. And so there are times that for those women who have experienced so much, look at here, Pastor Chad. Hey, Pastor Chad Williams, he came on. He's going to come back and talk to the men in particular, and I'm so excited about that. So glad to have you viewing with us. But women can speak words to other women that will help to send them forward in life. Tracy Spencer, she says, Tracy says, blessings from Southern California. It never rains in Southern
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
We know the song. But we're so glad
Right.
to have you on with us. We'll be back with you in just 1 second.
In the United States, March is Women's History Month. It honors women's contributions in all areas of life, as scientists, inventors, artists, politicians, and more. The celebration began in 1978, when the school district of Sonoma, California, hosted a week-long recognition of women's accomplishments throughout history. The idea spread, and in 1980, President Jimmy Carter proclaimed the week of March 8th National Women's History Week. 6 years later, an organization called the National Women's History Project convinced Congress to dedicate the entire month of March to women's history. Each year, a special focus for the month is declared by the National Women's History Project. For example, important artists like photographer Dorothea Lange and painter Mary Cassatt have been celebrated. Pioneers such as educator Mary McLeod Bethune, Clara Barton, who founded the Red Cross, Amelia Earhart in aviation, and First Lady Michelle Obama have also been honored. Women's History Month celebrates unsung heroes too. The countless women who helped when our country was at war, women who run businesses and volunteer in their communities, single mothers who work and raise families, and the unknown writers and artists in history whose works were never made public, yet teach historians much about our country's past. Which women in your life would you like to celebrate?
We all have someone, thank you for that. We all have someone that we can celebrate. So, right before we move on, is there somebody that you all want to make mention of, that you want to acknowledge and celebrate at the start of Women's History Month? There are so many fantastic, phenomenal, and we know Mom is there. So this, we know all of our women in our family are a part in our community. But is there someone that in particular that you can think that has inspired you as a woman, as we get ready to dive over a few minutes and talking about relationship parts when it comes to well balance with husband and wife? But anybody you ladies want to mention?
Well, alongside my mom, of course, my mom is one of the greatest people in the world to me. So, of course, my mom, but it's where the ladies that God placed in my life, Lady Lisa, Lady Viv, Lady Karen, Patsy, these ladies, Pastor Dillon, it's so many people that add so many levels of value to my life. Like I pull so much from each of you that has helped make me the woman that I am today. It's so much I can learn, or it's still learning, that I can pull from women that I encounter. And that is not for every woman. It's just those particular women. There are more in my life, my mother-in-law, but these are women they're no blood relative or anything. Just it was a God encounter, I'll say. So it's so much that they bring to the table. I pull from each of them. They make me better.
Body in particular, because I have encountered a lot of women that, oh my goodness, they have been just like jewels to me. And especially those who have been, I call them part of the overcomer club. They had a lot of adversities that have come up against them, and they fought tooth and nails, and they made it up out of that situation, up out of that thing, up out of that issue, or up out of whatever it was that was trying to hold them down. And I just say, fight on. And they really inspire me, because they give me that extra push to say, you know what, she dealt with all that, but in spite of, she made it. Lisa, it's more for you to do. You can make it. It gives you more of the you can make it kind of drive. So for any woman that I've ever come into contact with that was almost considered to be the last, the one of the nobodies, or she'll never be, or housewife is all she's ever gonna be, single mama that's, fighting for everything that she's got, with everything that she's got to provide for her kids, and that's it. This is the end of her story. This is her story. That wasn't the final chapter. I appreciate them. I I do have one thing that I wanted to add from that retail therapy during COVID, during my quarantine time. I was so very appreciative of all of the entrepreneur spirit that I saw going forth. Oh my goodness. And I was supporting them too. I loved it. I loved the to see these pop-up sales, these pop-up businesses, even if they were only created for such a time as this. I just appreciated them for saying, you know what? I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it while I can. We were online anyway. We were doing all sorts of stuff. Why not support our sisters in their endeavors? I appreciated that, and I loved it. I was really glad when I know I'm sure my husband was even more happier than I was when I got released to go back to work, because the FedEx and the UPS guy both said, they told my parents, because I live kind of like on a dead end street. They told my parents, tell your daughter and her daughters that they have kept us in business during this time,
Yes.
and we appreciate them. And we appreciate them. So they appreciated me, but I appreciated all of the entrepreneurs that's got started through this whole COVID. But you know what? I think it sparked something in them that that may that maybe this is something that they really want to go for, and maybe they had been sitting in the shadows of others, and now they see, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. So I just applaud all of you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Keep putting them good products out there, because I promise you, I'm gonna keep supporting.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
We can't hear you.
Okay, my bad. I apologize. So you guys can hear me. I was saying,
Yes.
Lady Williams. I don't even have to say a word. If Pastor Chad and Lady Williams still watching, they'll know what this means right here. You guys have to go back to the segment where Pastor Williams was on, and he talked about the love life. Okay, yes.
We
So let's talk about well balanced with the love life. We see you, Miss Pat. She says she's watching. Miss Patricia Bickham. She was at the fashion show at Mimi Dillon's African Attire Fashion Show, which it was absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Pastor Russell. I'm back on now. I am messy, Lady Vivica. She said I'm messy, y'all. I am messy today. Yes, ma'am. Oh, hello, Minister Natasha. So let's talk about the well balanced husband and wife life. Talk to us about that, ladies.
well,
Okay,
I say this. What you got? What you got, Lisa? You going?
I really have one thing because I was watching this show the other night, and yo, it's a lot of
Wait
different
a
things you
minute.
can pick
Hold,
up from a
hold
lot
on.
of
Pass the
people.
chat now. Lady Vivica, that's your husband being messy.
Showing out.
All I'm saying
Y'all
is
showing
this
out.
the bed, this the wife. Coming back. I'm done. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's move on now. Okay. Let's talk about that balance because we got to
Please go
move quicker.
after that. You please, Trideana, go.
Oh, y'all are so funny. Well, I put it like this. It took a while to learn how to have a well-balanced marriage. And that's because when Brian and I got married, we was not saved. We was church people, but we wasn't saved people. So we knew church. We grew up in church. We knew how to do church. And we was married people that knew how to do church, but we did not know how to do marriage. And we was 19, so we thought we knew how to do marriage. We was definitely those people that has just became a little bit grown and thought we were grown. And we bought a whole lot of stuff real early in our marriage. Whew. You talking about go big at 19? We was buying stuff brand new like crazy people. So we had to learn, like it caused a problem because we became overloaded in bills and we newly married and we got to figure it out. And we're only 19. Like we did it big at 19. And I'll tell people, do not do that. Start small and, kind of grow with everything. So we had to seek counseling. Hallelujah. Thank God for counseling from good pastors, my pastors. And we learned that we could not have a successful marriage and learn anything about marriage, bills, debt, and everything that comes with it unless we get Christ. Now, this was not a religious thing. This was vital. We knew and we learned that Christ created marriage and he sets the rule to it. God created marriage, he sets the rule to it. And we was following our own rules. We did not know what we was doing. We just knew we loved each other and we thought that was good enough and it wasn't good enough. Love was not good enough to keep our relationship balanced. We had to figure out, because you could love someone and you can still have really bad arguments and move out, but you still love a person. I know people that still love each other and they're divorced. So we know that love is not good enough. You got to have principles. You got to know Christ and you got to let him lead your marriage. And so we had to go back to the drawing board. We had to read a book, All Marriage is Not Created Equal. And I would say that foundation, which is from the kingdom perspective, taught us how to have a kingdom marriage, which required balance, which required us to know how to manage our finances. I was not good at managing finances. That was a nope for me. I would make money and I knew how to spend it. That's what I was good at. I was not mature enough to know that I need to put some money in the bank and help my husband. I was just short with my money. And my husband was my mother-in-law used to say he's got an old soul. He was always good at managing. But I was so young, I did not like his managing skills because it was so strict. It was strict. And I didn't like how he would say, I can't buy anything. What? What you mean? I just worked. I got my little check and I can't buy myself nothing. And so it took a long time. We've been married 20 years. It took me almost 20 years. The whole marriage. I'm telling the truth. He'll tell you, it took me a long time to get my spending addiction in control. And he was so easygoing and being patient with me. Like when I mess up, I know the look. And my husband, anybody know he's a very serious person. So he would sit me down. It's like, come on to the principal's office. And he will literally go over my spending. It's so embarrassing. It is so bad. And I would get heart palpitation because I know I just messed up. I know I did. It's like, why did you do that? And I'm gonna tell you how he got me, and I'm gonna let Lisa go. Me and my mom, we went shopping, and I think a Dodger went well. Went to Hammond and went shopping. And I went to Cato's and Hammond. And I don't know, I must have had a good little money, but I think my husband made me mad, probably. Because normally when I overspend, I'm gonna make him mad by spending a lot of money. That was just me. I went down to Hammond and I spent a buttload of money. I spent $1,200, $1,200 some change at the Cato's, right? Shopping, shopping, shopping. I came home. Brian saw all those bags, and the first thing he looked at me, he said, "You could take all that back to the store." I said, "Huh?" He said, "You cannot keep this up. Why did you spend all that at one time?" So I was shamed. I took all them clothes back to the store because I'm trying to save my marriage. And I learned after that, taking them clothes back to that store, that Brian is not playing with me when it comes to my spending. And he told me, he said, "You got to get your spending under control." So with that, I had to learn, just because we have money don't mean I have to just spend it all up. And that was just a bad habit that I had. And Brian would be like, you know, you gonna need a second job for your spending habits. I'm a big thinker. I'll say, I want a big house and with all this stuff with a pool, and I would just throw all this. He said, "No, you don't." He said, "No, it ain't." He'll show me my receipts. He'll say, "Here go your house." You know, here go. Yeah, he would tell me that. And so it took me a long time to learn how to listen to everything my husband says, because he knows how to plan stuff, and I know how to mess it up. I'm telling you, I just know. But he loved me enough to be patient with me. Thank God for giving me a husband that is calm. He was never mean to me. And he should have been, because that's what took so long for me to stop my habit. He wasn't, he should have knocked me down. But it took me a long time to figure out you got to learn how to manage money. And he created ways to put a stop to me, because he's gonna find a way. He likes to see the money. I like to spend the money. So we had to get that.
Okay.
We had to get that balance, so we end up in divorce court. Oh
So
my
it
God.
really is, it's work, it's a process. So it
Ooh.
sounds like you have to love someone enough to just say, we're going to be two imperfect people trying to make a marriage wonderful. Talk to us, Lady Lisa.
Um,
Yes.
so when we first got married, one of the very first things that we knew we wanted to do was we wanted to move away, because although we dated for a little while, we were still right here with all of our family. So we didn't really get a chance to really, know each other as husband and wife, family to run to. So we wanted to get away so that we could, when we ran, we could only run to our den or our bedroom. I mean, but we were still right there together because we moved to where we just really didn't have anybody but the two of us, right? So that was really helpful for for us. One thing I've learned over the years, and this makes year number 25 for us. But one thing I've learned, yeah, we just might look young, but we ain't that young. We ain't new to this. One thing that I've learned is offenses build fences. When you don't address problems as they arise, as they come, when they come up, and you you sit back on it and let it linger, you start building walls inside of you. And they could be consciously or unconsciously, but the walls start building. And before you know it, you've built a fence around your heart. And you're not at a point or at a place where you are loving your spouse like you should, simply because you didn't talk to them or deal with whatever it was that bothered you or that offended you some time ago. And then uh it comes to a place where everything else that he does or that she does, it cuts at you. It's really going back to that one thing, really. But everything else you are so easily offended by, all because you didn't deal with that main thing. You didn't deal with the root. So every other branch, it's just a part of it. It's helping to secure that fence. It's actually putting nails in that fence to make it even tighter. Um, and breaking those walls down, it's definitely gonna take God to do it. It's gonna take some love. It's gonna take probably some counseling too. Um, but you gotta deal with stuff as they as they come up, because at the end of the day, if you want to really honor your vows and be in that thing till death do you part, don't let death come by way of your hands, because you didn't want to get them dirty. Oh, for Pete, I've heard this so many times. For Pete's sake, then we just not gonna talk about that. What? Sometimes in order to clean up the ashes, you gotta face them ashes. Don't just automatically say and blow them, because they're gonna scatter. And as they're scattering, they're creating more spots and more space, and probably more of a division. It's a lot of couples that are married and separated at the same time. Now they can file a joint on their taxes, but in their household they separated. So that that was
This
just
is
my
good.
take on a well balanced marriage is finding, because all areas you don't even have to be good at, Tradina.
Right.
You can't be good at everything. Because I look at it like where I'm weak, I need you to be strong, because there's some
Right.
stuff that you don't do quite good either, but let me be the strength. And it's really okay to show that place of being vulnerable with your spouse. They're supposed to be my friend. I'm supposed to be able to talk to you about everything, especially things that pertain to me. So when I'm at a low point, that's when that is not the time to say, ask me what we having for dinner. If
Right.
I'm that is not the time to say, well, you know what? I remember when I was feeling bad and you didn't compliment me on my new suit or how I look. That's really not the time.
Okay, look, let me
Communication
ask. Let me,
goes long.
this is good. This is good. So let me ask you, how do you handle conflict that happened during the day before you lay down at night to go to bed? Do you sleep on it? Do you fix it before you go to bed? I mean, what happens? Do you take it to the bedroom? Do you leave it in the living room? Do you sweep it under the rug? How do you handle conflict like that?
It's it's not good for me to lay down on it, because I'm one of these people who wake up like real early in the morning. And if I wake up with that on my mind real early in the morning, I mean, I don't even care if you got slob just coming out your mouth. I need to go. I need my mind be set up like that to just keep on and on and on. It I I know that Pastor Sam is gonna be on here another time real soon. And would you please ask him? He will vouch for this. I don't care if it's 4:15 in the morning. If I got something on my mind and I gotta talk about it because the more time you give me, that that's also more time that the enemy is gonna have to plant some seeds in my head while I'm trying to work through. Because if I don't know where you coming from, I can give you all kinds of scenarios where what I'm thinking now. That may be the furthest thing from the truth. So I gotta hear your truth. I got to. So maybe we can come to some kind of understanding. Now, if we agree that we just gonna disagree on this thing, then that's one thing. But if we just say, I don't want to talk about it, what? You might not want to talk about it now, but baby, we gonna talk about this. We gonna talk about this at some point. Because I know I can it and what you have to be careful about, women and men, is triggers. You cannot talk about it today, and something can come up tomorrow, next month, next year, and it'll trigger you and send you right back to that place. That's simply because you haven't dealt with it. You didn't deal with it when it was there, right there in your face. And you never know really what's going to trigger you or how the trigger is going to affect you. So if you go ahead and deal with it, whether it's at that 4:15 hour of the morning or before you go to bed, deal with problems as they come. So
That's
you
good.
don't have to worry about those fences.
That's good. Deal with it. Pastor Trideana, you want to add anything to that? That was really good.
It's
Um,
so funny listening. It's so funny listening to Lisa saying 4 a.m. because I promise you that's like the time that if me and Brian have a disagreement or an argument, that is
No,
the
Karen,
time
hold
we
on.
address it.
Hold on, Pastor Trideana. Now,
Okay.
Lady Vivica and Lady Karen, but this Lady Karen, she being real messy right now. Pastor Chad said Lady Vivica knows how to fix it, though. She can fix it. Okay, I'm done. Okay. All right, talk to us, Pastor Leonard. Talk to us,
And
Pastor
it's
Leonard.
so funny.
Yes.
Yeah, they clowned it tonight. They should have been on here.
right.
But for that by the time we know we have animosity or some issue that's we've had during the day or during the week, we don't always resolve it that day or that night. It's hard to follow that method, don't go to sleep angry, because sometimes either he or I are not ready to talk about it. And if I go too fast, my mouth, I can have a mouth that can be real offensive sometimes. And over the years, it's gotten better, but you can't just jump in at any time if there's an issue. You really got to play your cards right when it comes to it. Depends on what it is, but for the most part, Brian knows that if we got an issue that's lingering for a couple of days, it's gonna bother me more than him because he's more patient. He can go like he live in the chill mode. He's waiting till I come around because I'm the one that pop off the most. And so when I'm ready to talk, he's ready to talk because he's ready at any time. And it makes me mad because I'd rather him initiate it, but he really isn't. He waits for me because I'm the one that's more aggressive and I can be the one that's quite disturbed mentally. So it takes me to like maybe about 3-4 in the morning when he's falling asleep and I'm laying there and I can't sleep. And it's like, okay, now I'm ready. So I would wake him up. I get to kicking him, bumping him. And I'll say, Brian, babe, wake up. We need to talk. And I know that he's always ready. And he always wake up and he turns toward me. And now we have to resolve the issue. And sometimes it's not big as we always think it is. But if you know my husband, everything is real mellow. He's a mellow guy. He's calm and he's cool and he collective. So he just kind of carries all my weight and he put it into perspective. And if it's something that bothers me, he really explains his take on it. Like he's so unbothered and he easygoing. I'm the one I have the energy and sometimes I'm offended. Like I can be easily offended as well. I'm the sensitive one, I'll say. People might not think it, but I am the sensitive one in our relationship. So I'm easily offended or I'm easily bothered. And he's
Gotcha.
easygoing. Yeah, he's always easygoing. So most time he don't even know there is a problem. And if I'm not talking to him, that's when he noticed, okay, what's wrong with you? That's him. And I'm the one who lie and say nothing. I'll say nothing.
Look, Pastor Leonard said he can't stand them 4 o'clock in the morning talks.
The morning talk.
Oh my
It's
God.
always.
You are so funny tonight. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
That-
I would love him. He'd be
but
good
it sounds like, and for sure, you all are saying the same thing. However, because of your personality, it's clear that your process has to be different because it takes you some extra time to work through being able to get to the table, but it's important. So the ideal thing sounds like before you get to bed, you should be fixing it, but you have to work out in your marriage how you are as a person as you continue to grow is what I'm hearing. Am I hearing that correctly?
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you know what I want to add is don't look at your situation and compare it to somebody else. Don't compare your relationship to somebody
No.
else and what they say and how people are saying you should deal with. You got to know your spouse. Know your spouse or know the person that you're in the relationship with, because they can't handle everything like the person, like your friend husband or wife can. They don't process things, they don't deal with things the same way. And if you wanted somebody like that, then that may have been the person that you should have been with. But you know what, accept their imperfections, be willing and open to, if you say I want to talk to you, but they can't get a word in, you don't want to talk to them. You want them to listen to you, to hear you, and that's it. You got something to say, and that's all. That's not open communication.
That's good. That's really good. So, look, of course, time goes super fast. So, I need to make a couple of announcements. And when we come back, I want you ladies to talk about sex in the marriage. I want you to give some quick fire tips. We're going to go to our quick fire. And that means you have to say what you need to say, hit it in the fine details. Look at Pastor Trideana. She like is all on it all the time. You hear me? But look how Lady Lisa looking. So let me make a couple of announcements and we will be right back. All right. So thank you guys so much. As you can see, we want to give one more big shout out to Bina Bean. She was promoted as lieutenant of at the Pike County Sheriff Department. And so we appreciate our sister for all that she does in the community and for getting out and just being there and present for people. So we celebrate you, my sister. It is Women's History Month, and what a way to start the month off. Also, just keep in mind, we have wonderful Let's Talk Live sessions coming up. You can see we have so many guests, and there are new guests that have been added. Some guests will be back. So I am super excited about that. Also, make sure that you on any of our live streaming links. We're on Let's Talk Live on Facebook, here on my page, Tasha Dillon Ministries. We're on Twitch TV. So if you're on Twitch, follow us on Twitch. It's new, but we're growing. Periscope also, and YouTube. Just do a search for Miss Preacher. So I invite you guys to join us there. Also on tomorrow at 7:30 p.m., I'm going to be with some wonderful women of God with the host Kimberly Holmes, and we're going to be talking about women in ministry. So if you want to get a little scoop, I've written a book in regards to that. So I'm looking forward to maybe sharing a little information about women in ministry, some research that I've done and some studies along with the other women of God. And thank you to all of those who are supporting Three Dimension Consulting. It provides services such as this and so many other things. You can check us out on Facebook at contact3dc.com and also the web page. Thank you guys so much. All right. So we're going to jump back in. And let me say this also. For Pastor Chad is going to come back and talk to the men. So Pastor Chad, you're listening. And if Pastor Brian is on, I hope that we can get you on with Pastor Chad so that you gentlemen can talk to the men. All right. So Lady Vivica, look, she told Pastor Trideana to keep it PG-13. Nope. Tell the whole story. We want the whole story. This is real talk for real
Tasha,
talk.
I can say
We
now,
want the whole shebang wang. So here it is.
and
We're going.
I've been friends for a while, Pastor Tasha, and this is her topic right here. This segment right here, this is all her.
It really is, and you know what? We need
Oh,
it. We need it in the body of Christ. I have had people so many times talk about. Lady Vivica said, nope, she is raw and uncut. The church needs it. I always say if it comes up, we can talk it out. So we're going to jump over, and you ladies have to give 3 top tips for that. And I mean, keep it real, talk about it, put it out there. We don't have long discussion. Our time is
okay.
I can't believe the time is going so quickly.
We're going to keep it PG as I've been advised. But listen.
By the way, you all see we have tonight the side cruise. Bernie is always with us, but how about we have, as you can see, Lady Williams and Lady Hughes, they here anyway now. All right, ladies, take it away. Talk
my
to
girls. Well, I say I'm going to keep it as PG as can, but we're talking about sex. We're talking about sex for married people. So we're not talking about going to church. So I say how I like to keep things fresh is to have a whole lot of it. I'm talking about a whole lot of it. And my friends know I'm trying, ladies. And lingerie, I shop for a lot of lingerie. So my husband get to see me in all different colors. I'm trying. And date night. Brian and I date a lot. Sometimes he plans and sometimes I play him. And he know date nights always leads to something special at the end of the night. So that's what I'm gonna say. But have a lot of it. I say I don't believe in limited sex. Even if we mad, I don't turn down sex. I give it up. I'm trying.
So we can ascertain that you like giving it up, which is good. And so even if you're angry, you're saying that you don't withhold, you go with it and you can talk about it later.
No, when it comes to that, I give it up. That's one of my weakest areas, and ain't no no. If he bump me, I'm ready. Oh my God, we have our church people on here. Oh, Pastor Brian, I'm sorry, but he knows I'm a hot mama. So if my husband walks through the door, I'm ready. When he's preaching, I have to really get my mind together. I'm very attracted to my husband, and I bet life is pretty fun. Why y'all got me going there? My husband said, "Oh Lord, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Oh Lord."
Let me say this. I probably should have let Lady Lisa come first. But listen. So So when you hear it from a mother of the church, my mother said nothing wrong with that. Real talk. So we have to
Real
talk about
talk.
it. Each department says sex is not to be used for punishment. Enjoy. Let me tell
Thank
you. Let me tell you from a single woman's perspective. We're not gonna stop at Lady Vivica. Um, I tell people who have trouble and problems with having sex, I'm like, you think about when people say, I just don't like it. And I say, well, you struggle with thinking about having sex once a week or 3 times a month. I said, and I'm probably like you, Lady Trideana. I'm gonna be right there with you. But I'm saying I have to think about having sex 0 times a year. So when you're married and you have someone, and I get it, but my thing is think about the gift that it is. Maybe sometimes that'll help you out in the process. Okay, Lady Lisa, talk to us.
Okay, so
Wait. Are you fit? I'm gonna come back to you, Pastor.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Close us out.
one thing I do know is it's important to have the sex talk with your spouse. Because if it's not good for you and if it's not working for you, y'all need to come together and ration this thing out so it can be enjoyable for everybody. Not just one of you is yay and one of you is the other is like, I should have had a V8. I mean that. The sex conversation is important. Know what your spouse likes. And then, so if this is supposed to be your final sex partner, right? Because
Right.
you in this for the long haul. Then why not try some different stuff? Some stuff you've been thinking about. And, I wonder what that's like. Or you got it. And you won't even get in trouble. You won't get in trouble over this. You don't have to worry about the repercussions, and you ain't got that to worry about. At least try it one time.
I love it. I mean that is so good. And let me say this. Let me ask you ladies this. So I'm this kind of person. I really think I will be the kind of person with my husband if it's something I like, something I want to try, something I want done differently. I'm just going to say it. Should you just talk about it when you're doing it or after you're doing it?
Or just show them. Just show them.
Come on, help
And
me.
I'm going for the kill.
Be okay with show and tell.
That's right. Like, you can't be afraid of anything in the bedroom. Like, nothing. Don't be afraid of anything. I think that you can go in. This is your now, this not for people that's trying stuff. I'm talking about this is your forever partner. My husband is my forever. Our plan is to die together. So when we're in the bedroom, there are no limits, there's no boundaries. We are in awe of each other. It can be fun, it can be wild. We get to experience a whole lot of firsts together. And I enjoy that. I enjoy what we do when we in there. I'm trying to keep it PG.
I tell you what I just thought about. I just thought about on Color Purple when the girl said that he died on top of her. I mean, I would really be okay with that. That means that he died doing what we both love. I mean, and I was, I don't know. I don't know why my mind went there, but it did.
Oh Lord, help the church though, help the church. But that is so good. We have to have talks, and and we're laughing and joking. But in all practicality, the three of us have seen enough marriages fall apart simply because the intimacy was lost and they were no longer into each other. So keep it spicy. Even before some of us got saved, got married, we were just exploring and up for whatever. I mean, getting married and getting saved does not kill that. If anything, it should liberate you to go for it, right?
It happened to me. I was taught that. A lady in my church, my old church, really did tell me that, sex was not important, to keep a really good prayer life. And I'm telling you, I'm newly married and I'm sitting there thinking, can I have it all? Like, can I have a whole lot of sex and a whole lot of prayer life? Because when you try to limit me having some of the best time of my life with my husband, I'm gonna look at you sideways because I know what I really want to do to him, for him, and with him. So it's like I'm not the right person
Trina,
to,
that right there goes with how people say take the limits off God. Take the limits off your marriage and where I mean, because
yes,
when you become one with him or
yes,
you become one, y'all start thinking of some of the same stuff. Y'all
right,
start wanting to eat the same. I mean, y'all because we really are in sync. And you
right,
know, when that the intimate part of your relationship is on point, you know, the rest of that stuff, y'all can work things out a little bit better because you can come to the table a little more calmer, even in conversation, and you can be mad as the devil. I mean, you can really be mad and angry with him,
right.
but or her. But if y'all got it right the night before that argument took place, I, I might see you differently. I mean,
And
because
makeup sex is the best. It's the best. I don't care what nobody say.
makeup sex and created a lot of kids. All I'm saying,
I'm telling you, that's baby making sex.
because I don't want you to forget that.
God created sex for married people, and we are supposed to enjoy. It's with the confines of what He wants. We supposed to enjoy each other, and I'm always excited to talk about stuff that God gifted. It's a gift. It's a
That's right.
blessing, and if you know how to go in there and enjoy it. Don't let nothing stop you. Don't
And,
let because we're Christians stop you. Like that's it's the gift. That's a part of it.
the
It
gift
rolls
that keeps
with it.
giving. I mean, really.
Hmm.
That's good.
And
So
then if you found your spouse sexy, and that's one of the things that attracted you to him or her, duh, sexy. Do you just take the Y off? Sex him or her then.
Right, right. Intimacy is important. And I always said, and I teach this in
Keep
my
it.
church, intimacy is into me. You see, when my husband look at me, I do feel like he's looking into me. And he looks at me as very desirable. And that makes me feel sexy. And when I feel sexy, it's on.
And you know what? And feeling sexy has absolutely nothing to do with your size.
Nope.
I'm really a firm believer. It's all about that confidence. It's all about what exudes from out of you. It's all
Right.
about how you feel about yourself. And I mean, baby, you gotta know work with what you got.
this is good.
Yes.
Let me read some of these comments. They are tickling me. Um, but I do appreciate Pastor Pitts. He said sex and money is talked about everywhere but the church. That's why the world is getting it wrong because the church not really teaching it. Thank you for saying that, Pastor. Lady Vivica said, "Yep, I just pick fights for the makeup sex." She said, "I'm petty like that." Sakitha Denise says, even though I am single, this is really good talk all the way around from the beginning to the end. Thank you for plugging in and being with us. And Zakia Coleman said, you have to be in tune with each other. Study your spouse. That's a good point. I like that point. And said, yes, she said, sometimes, yes, the best. Sometimes I play like a man. Oh my gosh. So what's your
It's
final
that
thoughts on
makeup
this?
sex. Makeup sex. Everybody trying to get that makeup
It'll get
sex.
you every time.
Mess your life up. It's the best.
No, it'll put your life back on track.
Right? Oh my God.
That's so good. Okay,
Yes.
so final thoughts on that, and then we're going to get ready to get out of here. This is so good. You ladies have been absolutely phenomenal. Any last thoughts on sex in a marriage? And two, what can you say to people who are struggling to get back on track? Maybe, they found a stale place, or they feel unattractive, or they have become or their spouses become not attracted to them. So how can you get that wheel turning again? How can somebody, find that spot again?
I think first, and this is just going back to the foundation is Christ. Let's just keep it 100. This comes with the plan of marriage. He created marriage. He sets the rules to it. And so a lot of times our marriages go wrong because we're trying to do something that God designed a worldly way. And the world can't give us instructions on marriage. There ain't no 5-step program that the world can create better than how God created for marriage. So I always say, make sure Christ is at the center. He's got to be at the core. And then when you're married, make sure he's at the center. When you're married, have a whole lot of communication, a good prayer life. And y'all, I'm telling you, a whole lot of sex. It needs to be just as balanced as your prayer life and your communication with your spouse, because that keeps you in that oneness. Because when you're not having a lot of sex, you can really become disconnected. And most some marriages have had a dry spell. So
Okay.
try not to keep a dry spell.
Okay, that's
A
good.
whole
Right,
lot of
right
sex.
before Lady Lisa chimes in, Lakivia, God bless you, says any advice for engaged couples on the road to marriage?
Refrain from sex. Don't do it.
What can
Develop
they do?
intimacy other
But what can
ways.
they do? What should they do? What can they do? What should they do?
Date, court. This is a good time to court. Courtship. I don't know, people court a lot, but it's a good time to court, which means ask those questions that you never ask. Bring other people in to discuss what they see that you don't see so that you can discuss them. This is stuff that should happen in counseling. You got to talk about the negative, the ugly, because you don't want to wait till you get married and all this stuff pop up and nobody knew that you had a problem with this or these are deal breakers. Like, discuss this before, get it resolved, and refrain from having sex. I'm telling y'all, don't do it.
So,
And
so
you
I would imagine, and Lady Lisa, do chime in, but I would imagine too. So you're saying in courtship, and I mean, let's just talk real. So, um, the 19-year-old you dating is different from the 32-year-old or the 42-year-old you who's courting. So, what do you tell that person? Because people are, am I getting married in 1 year, 2 years? Am I engaged for a year? Are we physically attracted to each other? Do we kiss? Do we hold hands? Do we hug? I mean, what are you telling me that is acceptable, or what are you telling me my boundaries are? Because these are real things that single people deal with.
Right. I think people can kiss. I think they can hug, hold hands. You got to be careful because if you are attracted to them, you can easily have sex with them, especially if nobody's around. So that's the stuff you both need to have a clear communication about why you both choosing to refrain from sex. Like, it's got to be a real, authentic communication that we have decided to refrain from having sex before marriage.
and you
It's
know
so
what
important.
I
So
also
go ahead, Lisa.
that it's a lot of people who are marrying older. So I understand that the principle is still the same, refrain from having sex, but there aren't very many 40-year-old people that I know. I mean, and these may just be the people that I know. There aren't very many 40-year-olds that I know that haven't had sex before. Sex complicates things when you're not married to that person. It
Right.
really does. So that puts some extra stress because now you're at a point where you, the performance this almost got to be a Oscar, or you got a Emmy award winning performance at this point, because you're trying to hold on and secure a person that you haven't actually made that commitment, like, to, as far as marriage with yet. Because if you don't quite get it right the first few times in marriage, I mean, if you in it for the long haul, you got years more to get it right. You got some more practicing time to do. you know but when you're dating and you put sex into the mix, Now you just got to know that that may change the trajectory of your relationship, because now,
I agree.
because it's not that many, again, it's not that many, um it's not that many 19-year-old people that I know of that are getting married, but it's more late 30s, early 40s, late 40s people that are getting married. They've had sex before. So now they have something to compare.
Yeah, that's true. And I would say this also in the conversation, and I've said this before, you know, you talk to that person and see what they like, because you said if you're older, there is more than likely have been sexual experiences. And I'm telling you, listen, I have heard it all. You need to ask him, do you like things in your anus? Do you like to be tickled, licked?
That's right.
I mean, you need to know,
Right.
because
Right.
some do
You need
that
that
and they
real
like
talk.
that, yes, and they require that for sexual
Right.
satisfaction. Some have
That's
gone and tried some of the freakiest stuff in the world, and it's not stuff I would say that's natural to sexual desire,
Right.
but they have given themselves to that, and now they're looking for somebody else to do something that they paid somebody or went into a dark dungeon and done with a
that's right.
person that's not natural. And I'm telling you, ask the questions. Ask a person what all
Yes.
they like and how far they want to go and what is their wildest fantasy.
Pastor
Sex can
Tasha,
create more
what I
problems than
tell
it solves.
um what I tell my girls is some experiences you can't come back from. So know what it is that you're willing to get yourself into. What boundaries are you willing to be a little more flexible with that you've established? Because some things you really have to stick to your guns. If you don't want that, if your life ain't set up like that and you don't want it to be set up like that, because make it known, make your request known at the beginning. That's part of the
Yes.
courtship, I believe, because now we're actually figuring out and finding out and discovering things about this person that um you couldn't know just in going to the movies with them. You, I mean, talk to me. Let me know what it is. What is it? What are some dreams? What are some fantasies? What is it that you like? What makes you tick? What I need to know this, because what, like I said, sex can be a deal breaker and it can complicate things. But the
Yes.
lack of communicating about sex can also be a deal breaker as well.
Right. And
It
what
can
we know
complicate matters
is
more.
intimacy is so much more. Ladies, this has been so good, but I'm telling you, we are at our time for for this particular segment. Oh my gosh, y'all, this has been one of the best. It's they're all so good. But let me ask you, are there any final thoughts that you guys have as we get ready to close? Now, didn't the time go fast?
It
It
did.
did.
And do you know we're overtime like 45 minutes?
Oh,
But it's been
See, look,
rich.
talking about all that sex.
I guess so. Pastor Sam's so funny talking about y'all are deep tonight. Yeah. He he
oh.
said
Oh,
he
really?
did ask the question, what if the sex doesn't meet your expectations? It may end the relationship before you get the practice in. It's too
Teach
much.
them. Teach them.
Look,
Teach them.
okay, so look.
Oh, teach them. Oh, okay, okay.
Teach
So
them.
thank you, Pastor
Yes.
Brian. Thank you, Pastor Brian. And Pastor Brian, I hope you heard my invite with you and Pastor Chad coming on talking to the men. Would love to have you. Hopefully, we can work that out. But any final
Right.
thoughts before we get ready to end tonight, ladies?
The well balanced
Just
life has to begin
balances.
with you.
Yeah. Right.
It has to begin with you. And you create the
That's it.
atmosphere. You you can be the change that you want to see. You initiate that change. Whether it's in whatever relationship, that could be your a relationship with your spouse, your family member, you be the change that you want to see. in order to create a well-balanced life for you, because that's what it's all about first and foremost, so you can live the kingdom life.
That's good. All right, Pastor Trideana.
Well, just remember the order of God: God, husband, wife, and the children. And then right in the center where is husband and wife, don't forget that. Don't get caught up in everyday life and forget the husband and wife, because my husband and I and everybody else that's married, we are the foundation of the nation that we are creating, which is the children, and they have to be taught. And in that window where it's Brian and I, husband and wife, we have to learn to communicate, pray, have a whole lot of sex, a whole lot of sex. And never stop dating. Never stop dating. I'm telling you, never.
So good, so good. You ladies have been just everything tonight. Any announcements, anything you have coming up that you want those viewing to know about, that you would like to announce? Let everyone know when your church services are, and we're going to get ready to get out of here.
And Agape Worship Center, we have Sunday morning live feed every Sunday at 11 a.m. here on Facebook. And we would love to have all of you joining us. We're still at Agape. We are where the love of God returns back to the church.
I shouldn't have put up Pastor Alexander.
No,
My bad, Pastor. My bad. That was the wrong time. That was
Oh,
one of the iconic bad timers. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Sandra threw me out my game. So- but anyway, Take Dominion will resume services in the latter part of March. We have been on a break and not meeting or anything like that, and that was due to until a lot of us recover. So we'll be going back and later, just be on the
It ended itself. Wow. Okay.
list.
There it is. But this was awesome. It was absolutely excellent, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Oh, wait a minute.
Thank you
Are
for
we still
having
on?
me.
Hold on. We are still on. Let me see. It said it ended. Okay, so I guess we may. I don't know what just happened here. Okay. Well, we are still on. All right. Well, would you all who are still on real quick just send up a lot of hearts and a lot of love and let these two ladies know that you really appreciate their frankness tonight. It has been real talk for a real walk. Um, yes, thank you guys so much. And listen, as they mentioned earlier, everything we talk about, the basis rather, the foundation that we stand on unequivocally, unapologetically, and with full conviction is that Jesus Christ is Lord. And if you're
yeah,
watching and you have not asked Jesus to come into your heart, you can do it. And the Bible says, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. You know, we're at New Life Fellowship Church. We have Agape here. We have Take Dominion here. You have some that you can reach out to if you make that decision. And we pray that you do if you have not. And I always say, that's whosoever, whensoever, wheresoever, and whatsoever you find yourself. Call on the name of the Lord, and he will be there. God bless you. We'll see you guys at our next Let's Talk. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube, find us on Twitch and Periscope, and follow the page on Facebook, and stay plugged in. God bless you. Ladies, I love you all. You all know.
love
Big
you.
love. Big love. And we'll say good night to everyone. Yay, hugs.
Yes,
We'll say good
gotta
night
give a
to
virtual
everyone.
hug.
Ma'am?
Gotta do these virtual hugs.
I know.
Yes, we do. So just let everybody know good night. Thank you, everyone who's chiming in, and you'll have a second or more to put that up and for sending up the love. Good night.
Good night.